My name is Brian Bangert. I grew up in LaSalle County, town of Illinois, on a farm that my grandfather started, that later my dad took over, and then now my brother. It was a livestock farm for most of that time. Cattle, dairy, hogs, sheep, chickens, and grew up, went to college, got a degree in agronomy, ag science, and from there did an internship that took me to Funk Farms in 1992. After I graduated, I sought out a job which included applying here, and I was hired. So I started here in 1993 and have been working actively on the farm since then, taking over management in 2013. So Funk Farms is one of the most historically significant farms related to specifically the seed industry. It was the first and foremost company for selling commercial seed corn in the early 1900s. And that was all driven towards helping other local livestock producers more efficiently raise the grain that they fed livestock. So they were keenly aware that they needed to raise more per acre to help lower costs. And that seed company side of this family is probably the most historically significant side of it. And they've been farming this land and feeding cattle for 200 years in 2024. The Funk G hybrid had many different genetic lines, and they lettered them, and they ended up on G, therefore Funk G hybrid. It is actually not specific to gene funk. It was the G genetic line that they chose for the hybrid. So our beef operation here on the farm is we've got feeding capacity for 1,000 head of cattle, and we also have a cow herd operating on the farm in our pastures. Those cows will calve this fall. They're owned by Rock Creek Land and Cattle. That ties into our sourced identified beef supply. We buy back the steers and heifers out of the ranches that buy the bulls from Rock Creek Land and Cattle. So we're trying to maintain identity preserve start to finish on everything that we sell here. Those cows will be calving this fall. We'll bring everything into the feed yard this winter after the weather changes, and then as we have it processed, it is taken in our retail store where we sell quarters, halves, and wholes, and that also ties into the farm to table events that we also have. At Funk Farms, we've got a corn and soybean rotation with a little bit of hay ground. A majority of the corn is retained and fed to the cattle on the operation. It makes up about 20% of the ration that we feed. Add to that, another 20% is corn silage. So when you factor those in and byproducts we get in wet distillers, all of these products integrate into our feed program. It's one of the most important things as to the productivity of the corn.